Hey y'all, welcome to Community College with Dr. G. It's been a minute since I made a video, but the world is changing and it requires an adjustment of us, right? So I've been, of course, studying, paying attention to what's going on, and the way that my mind works to put visions together, the pieces of the puzzle have come together to kind of show me what's going on, the state of the human. Yeah. And of course, my whole purpose in life is to share the knowledge that I have the privilege of gaining with you so that we can all strategize to create the absolute best, most thriving lives we can while on earth. This is not a space where we wait for heaven to receive our rewards. This is a space where we use our divine power to create the reality that we wish to see. Revolutionary minds. Okay, so if you don't know me, there's a video I think on here from like last year that describes who I am, but I'll reintroduce myself a little bit at the beginning of this video because I'm different. I'm an alien, but I come in peace, okay? I was placed on this earth to see things divergently from most other people. I was placed on this earth as a nerd, total geek when it comes to psychology, understanding human behavior, and helping people to strategize to improve their lives. And I fucking love it. I live in my purpose. I live in the space where I get to see people, encourage people, empower people, teach people how to empower themselves, right? Help people shift their minds so that they can create a reality that is conducive to their mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being. Simple shit, right? I was trained as a psychologist. I have a master's in clinical psychology. Was trained to be a therapist, but did not complete the hours for certification. Wasn't interested. I later down on the line, went back to get my PhD in developmental psychology, specializing in the lifespan, right? I know that sounds like a lot, but understanding the psychological, socio-emotional, and physical stages, places, growth, development of people from birth to death. I specialized in cognitive psychology, where we focus on metacognition, which is the way we think about how we think, right? This is where the growth mindset, the fixed mindset, mindfulness, all of this stuff stays within the big umbrella of metacognition. Cognition has to do with your thoughts, right? And also specialized in personality. So cognitive psychology and personality psychology, specifically in personality psychology, understanding why am I like this? It's one of my favorite things to help people discover is how they became who they are, right? The state of the human. But within personality, why are we like this? And then why do we relate to others in the way that we relate to others, right? So relationships. I am a writer. I have written some things, a number of things. I've self-published 2 books, a workbook and Sweet Surrender Free Flow, sort of autobiography, a sort of memoir of my life before I was reborn, or up until my rebirth. There's a volume 2 coming. That's for sure. I'll link all the good stuff that I do in the bio. Oh, besides being a writer, I'm also a guide, life coach, authenticity concierge, if you will. I work with individuals and small groups of people to change their minds and transform their lives. Literally revolutionizing the way people view themselves and then how they act and attract in the world. So I don't be busy, but I be working. And again, I fucking love it. Everything that I do, I fucking love. And this video is making me realize how much I actually do love what I do and how blessed I am to be able to just pontificate with y'all when I feel like it about the shit that I want to talk about. That's fucking revolutionary. If you hadn't noticed by now, I am not a serious person. I have very serious thoughts. I see the world in a very serious way. I am a warrior at the end of the day. At the end of the day. And I have to not take myself seriously in order to stay sane. So you'll see a lot of silliness and goofiness all the time. All right. Enough about me. Why am I here? The state of the human. It's like news, breaking news. Let's pretend I'm your president and I'm interrupting all of your regularly scheduled programs to talk to you about the state of the human, right? That's the idea behind this. And I come on here to kind of put this out here as a guide to life, as a guide to understanding ourselves, which is the key to sanity, right? In order to kind of create some context for the videos that come, create context for myself, right? But also for you guys. So back to you, Dr. G. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't apologize, but you know. What the fuck's going on? The world that we knew in 2019 does not exist anymore. The world that we knew in 2019 doesn't exist anymore. Yeah? We are living in a space and time of tremendous evolution. Not just the planets, not just the earth, not just the animals, but the humans, right? We keep talking about pandemic babies. This is the example I'm going to give you, the pandemic baby. They be coming out the womb staring at you. They come out the womb responding. 2-month olds are doing call and response and repetitive behaviors. Things that we don't see. Well, psychology describes these things to happen later. And over time, the research has shown that although they over exaggerate, right, the amount of time it takes for most people to learn things, because you got to remember psychology is based on middle class white people, right? So the science of it is based on a very, very different type of human to the rest of the humans in the world. Specifically, most other races have melanin in their skin, and the test to determine what's normal for melanated people is based on non-melanated people. So the information will never be accurate. I will go more into this in another video because that's a whole soapbox, but just to start there, right? Okay, pandemic babies and bringing it back. Y'all will bear with me. Pandemic babies are evolved humans. Things that used to take us 7 to 9 to 12 to 15 months to learn, we are doing in 3. This is evolution. The world, the earth, the cosmos, everything is changing and we're evolving. If you haven't noticed, I'm here to tell you. They're telling us that aliens are real. Back in the 80s, what? UFOs? You're crazy. I'm sending you to the loony bin because you believe in UFOs and you had a sighting and this and this and that. And now they're telling you that the shit is true and that it's been true for time. What the fuck you think they distracting you from? Okay. So, what do we do? What do you do when everything that you've known to be is no longer? What do you do when you sit back and you realize that all of the institutions and stability and predictability that you had for the world merely 3 or 4 years ago does not exist anymore? Systems are being dismantled. Institutions are crumbling across the world on the global scale, on the global stage. We see it. If we pay attention, we see it. Survival, though, has us putting our heads down, right? Working harder. Money is hard. Food is expensive. Everything is fucking out of whack according to what we knew. And the only thing that we can do to survive, or the only thing that they are telling us that we can do to survive, is to put our heads down, keep working, get the money, secure your family, secure your future, do this, do that, do this. When do you adjust? When do you give your mind time to process what the fuck has been going on for the last 3 or 4 years? Decades, probably. You gotta create the space for that. You gotta create the space for that. We have to take some accountability and ownership over the state of the human. We know that the systems, the powers, the people that be are using us to perpetuate their capitalistic systems. Yes, right? If we are complacent, nay brainwashed by these capitalistic systems to continue to live in the way that we have been living, to achieve more, to attain more, to have more, to show people that you can do these things, right? I'm surviving, I got money. Most people you know that got money are miserable. Because they out here doing shit to get money. They're not out here doing shit to fulfill their soul. Yeah, you're a human, but you're divine first. And how does divinity and capitalism, how do they live in the same space? It's possible. I like nice things. Don't let me fool you. But it's time to reprioritize, reassess, realign, and readjust our lives. So the first step in this process, because Dr. G ain't gonna just talk shit, she's gonna give you information on how to get through the shit. It's just what we do here. One, you gotta take a little bit of time and realize what the fuck is going on around you. Y'all, Donald Trump became our president. What Simpsons episode are we living in? The world is fucked. Clearly. Ladies and gentlemen, clearly the world is fucked, okay? But one thing that humans do, even when the world is fucked, is survive, right? We keep perpetuating life. We keep going through shit. And when I say the world is fucked, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but you talk to experts and stuff, and they talk about depression and finances and this and that. But like literally the entire systems that we've based our world around, and I put world like that, and I use the word earth because they're not the same thing. And there's a really cool video on YouTube with Michael Beckwith and Next Level Soul podcast where he explains this concept of the difference between earth and the world. I'm talking about the world here. The world as we know it no longer exists, and the first step in making something happen for ourselves is acknowledging that the world that we know does not exist anymore. That creates anxiety, right? Because what the fuck do we do now? Like, what now, right? How do I navigate this? All I know is what I know, and when we are in a state of change, when things are not the same anymore, we we go to what we know. We regress a little bit. And it's not really a regression. It's just like, what else am I supposed to be fucking doing right now? And we don't know. So the dissonance, right? That's called cognitive dissonance. When what you know does not match what you see. When what you know does not match what you see, it's called cognitive dissonance. It's a discomfort literally in our brain and our thoughts processes that creates things. Okay, like anxiety and depression, all of these things that we like to put labels on, which I will talk about in another video, because those anxiety, depression, all of those things come from dissonance, right? Cognitive dissonance. And we have to create a place for things to go, right? When I talk in my work about the mind, body, spirit connection, I'm talking about how all of those things literally work together. And if there's something awry, right? If there's dissonance in any of those spaces, it's going to show up somehow, some way. Example. Tell you a little story about this man that I met a number of years ago at a medical physicians conference at Howard University. Shout out to HU. So we were in a session about grief. You know, that's my shit. But we're in the session about grief, and he was talking about a time in his life, maybe when he was in his 40s or 50s. He was then in like his 60s or 70s, right? A time in his life where a lot of people around him were dying, including some siblings, and then his mom died, and that was like the icing on the proverbial grief cake for him. He said that he was sitting in a chair in his home when he found out that his mother died, and he could not get up again. Couldn't get back out of the chair. He could not use his legs anymore. He could not use his legs anymore. And of course, went to a bunch of medical doctors trying to figure out what's going on with what is this? And they couldn't find it out. Some years passed again, and someone else passed away, and wasn't as close as obviously the mom or siblings, but it triggered a grief response that was much easier to deal with than the death of his mom. And in the moment, he started shedding tears, which he had not done for his mom. Long story short, once he cried, he started walking again. So when I say to you that there is a connection between your mind, your body, and your spirit, and if there is dissonance in any one of those spaces, it's going to turn up. If you do not hit it head on, if you do not take an active role in dealing with, processing, and moving forward from whatever the dissonance is, understanding it so you can let it go, it's going to show up somewhere else in your body. And some other part of that little trifecta that makes you, it's going to show up. Depression shows up as GI issues. I had GI issues for years. I also suffered from depression for years. When I really got serious and committed to healing myself in the ways that I knew I needed to be healed, I have not had a stomach ache. I go regularly. I don't have GI issues anymore. When there's emotional pain that we're dealing with, we get pain in our hips, particularly that right hip. That right hip holds emotional pain. So the dissonance has to be dealt with. The dissonance has to be dealt with. How? Of course, I got steps. First of all, remember who the fuck you are. Remember who the fuck you are. You are God. There ain't nothing that should faze you. I'm serious as fuck when I say that. Recognition. So remember who the fuck you are. Step one. Remember who the fuck you are. You are a soul, a spirit, a divine being that is navigating through life in this avatar called a human body. Okay? Okay? Remember that. And if you understand on any level the power of God, then you understand on any level the power of you. Bars. Okay, now that you remember that, let's start there. Foundation of divinity. Okay, now that I'm on my foundation of divinity, who the fuck am I? Who am I? Not my job, not my roles and responsibilities, but who did God create me to be? God created me to be a lover of all people. I'm working on it. I'm not there yet. I'm working on it, right? He created me to be a lover of people. He created me to be an intellectual, a nerd, a geek, a dweeb, whatever you want to call it, about people. Like, that's such a gift. It's such an amazing space to be, to have gained such an understanding of people. But then what? All right, you know them, then what? Nah. You are divine. You are a lover. And you are an intellect. So what do you do with that? I spread love and knowledge everywhere that I go. I'm walking in my purpose. Okay? Recognize your gifts and identify your purpose. It sounds really difficult, but like the more self-awareness that you gain, the more that you remove all of the layers and labels that other people have put on you for who you are supposed to be, the closer you get to that divine being that started this journey. Okay? That authentic person that you are meant to be, that will come so easily and freely to you, alleviating dissonance in all aspects of your life. The more you get to know that person and accept those gifts, the better off you'll be. Okay, so acceptance. There's a couple of things you have to accept. One, you have to accept your divine foundation. Two, you have to accept all of the different aspects of who you are along this journey, because they all make you. No matter what other people have to say about what the fuck you do, you have to accept that that is who you are, if that's who you want to be. Because if that's not who you want to be, we can fix it. Link in the bio. No, I'm just playing. I'm not. Yeah. Accept all of the levels of yourself. Accept the path that got you to where you are in this moment today. Accept it. Accept it. It is what it is. It is what it is. On top of all of this, in this acceptance, the most important aspect of our being that we need to accept is that we have the capacity for doing exactly what it is that we're meant to do. We were divinely created to be exactly who we are. And it is our job, our mission, our purpose in this life to pursue that. Not to pursue the worldly things that they tell you that you're supposed to pursue, but to get down deep into yourself and accept your mission and the capacity to fulfill that mission. Take me to your leader. So we've remembered who the fuck we are. We've identified and recognized our divine gifts. We have offered ourselves a deep level of unconditional acceptance. Now what? It's time to integrate. It's time to spend time realizing, right, our divinity, our capabilities, the power within us, our skills, talents, gifts, etc., circumstances, context, relation, all of the things, right? It's time to integrate that. You cannot integrate if you don't know what you're integrating. if you don't get a very deep level of self-understanding and self-awareness outside of the labels and the boxes of the world, if you do not recognize the gifts that you have and accept your capacity for doing those things, if you don't have those things, what are you integrating? What are you putting together? Right? Why is this realization or this integration so important? It's because from the place of wholeness, a place of peace, a place of acceptance, a place of understanding, we are now able to implement sustainable strategies and actions. Sustainable. Why did I use the word sustainable? Because the strategies and actions that we're doing now are not fucking sustainable. Let me tell you why. In March of this year, I met a man from New York who was here in Costa Rica on vacation. I spent a couple of hours with him that day, and all he talked about was, I came here because I'm looking for places to go. I could retire now, but I'm gonna wait the extra year and a half so I can get my full money and this and this and that. And this man had worked for the NYPD Emergency Services dispatch system his whole career. So 20 something years of working for the New York Emergency Services dispatch. As an IT person, he didn't answer calls, he didn't do any of that stuff. But imagine the stress levels walking into work every day in that type of environment. Okay, I can't wait to retire. In a year and a half, I'm going to be done. I'm not going to do this shit anymore. I don't know if I'm moving to Costa Rica, but I'm moving the fuck out the States, right? I just need 2 more years. Within 8 weeks, I found out that man had had a stroke and was now in rehab and was not able to articulate sensible sentences anymore. A stroke changed his life before he got to enjoy it. When I say sustainable, it's because the shit that we're doing is not sustainable for our well-being, mental, physical, spiritual, nothing. It's not. Okay, I'm a little passionate. So when you realize that what we're doing is not sustainable, when you realize your power, when you recognize the efficacy that you have to complete your task, mission, and purpose in this life, when you remember who the fuck you are, you integrate all of these things. You can create strategies that are sustainable for your well-being. Okay? Sustainable for my well-being. What does that even mean? I want you to thrive. You thrive. Let me change my language. You thrive. We literally have the power within us to create the reality that we see. You talk to delusional people, do you recognize how delusional people manifest the life of their delusion? And we be sitting back like, damn, but that's not even possible. But obviously the fuck it is, because they did it. Delusion. Let's live there. The life that you think is like the ultimate life that you could live, your daily activities, the amount of money, the relationships, the things that you do, what you eat, ain't nothing compared to what's possible for you. Nothing. There are infinite possibilities for your life. There are no limits in your divinity. No? Can God not do all things? So why can't you? The state of the human. The state of the human. It's up to you. Not everybody gonna get it. This ain't for everybody. All of my little ad-libs come from Hove. I don't know why. I'm gonna cut this video now. Because I can feel me getting deeper. And I don't really want to. So, remember who the fuck you are. Take some time to get to know yourself authentically without the labels and roles and responsibilities that other people have placed on you. Accept your divine nature, your purpose, your capacity for every and anything. Realize and integrate all of these things. When I say realization, it's like a manifestation. That's why I call it an integration. Once we integrate all of these things, there's something wholly new that comes out of it. Strategize your life to make it sustainable for you. And then thrive. There'll be more on all of these topics, I'm sure, at some point on this channel. I'm grateful for those of you who stayed and listened to the end. I fucking love this shit. I fucking love this shit. All right. That's it, y'all. I love y'all. Click the description box down at the bottom and check out some of the services and products that I have to offer. Comment. Tell me what you think. What is the source of your dissonance right now? What is holding you back from living authentically? I said I was going to stop. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video or whatever other things that you can do down there in that little strip underneath my face. Help us out. If you love this, share it with somebody. Even if you don't, share it with somebody anyway. Helps us out. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Also, what else do you want me to talk about? Let me know. I love y'all. You see how I put the I in front of it? It's because I mean that shit. Peace.